And as Professor Kate Aughty wrote last week in the Alternative Law Journal, please read the UROC report. Please choose one recommendation of the UROC report and follow it, advocate for it, write about it, make it happen. It's on us. We have been asked to do this work and we don't need to ask permission to support First Nations and justice in Australia and Victoria. That being said, I would now like to welcome the Dean of the Faculty of Law at Monash University, Professor Stephen Vaughan, to open our conference. Stephen has asked me not to talk endlessly about him, so I will do as instructed. But Stephen joined us just 6 months ago, having previously worked at University College London, where he was Professor of Law and Professional Ethics, and he held a number of leadership positions there. And I'll stop then and hand over to Stephen. Thank you, Stephen.
Good morning. How lovely it is to see all of you here, friendly faces and new faces. This will be a wonderful conference. Let me thank Melissa for her brief introduction and for those very powerful words of acknowledgement. As someone English and someone white and someone new to these lands, I'm very reflective of all the learning that I need to do and also the potential that I have as the Dean of a law faculty. When we did the sound check, Melissa said she would introduce me as Dean of the Century. She didn't do that then, but that's fine. That's slightly offensive. Also, it's only 2025, so I'm not sure what that says either. In the conversation quarter a moment ago, someone said, "Oh, I've heard that you're funny." And I said, there are no jokes today because human rights is not funny. So let me begin by offering some public congratulations. Back of the room is Associate Professor Julie Debeljek, who has taken over as Deputy Director of the Centre, taking over from the person sat next to her. Obviously, deputies and former deputies need to be in close proximity. Associate Professor Ronnie Sifrus, who has gone on a temporary basis, I stress that, on secondment to the Australian Law Reform Commission. In the front row, I also happily note that we have Sarah Joseph, Professor Sarah Joseph here, former Centre Director. I had a list of other great and good people in the audience, and I'm not going to read it out because I once did that and didn't quite notice Lady Hale at the back of the room. Just not willing to make that mistake again, so we're not there today. The Vice-Chancellor of Monash, Professor Sharon Pickering, asks the same question of her deans over and over again. And what she says is, what is it that your faculty does better than anybody else? And being the Dean of this law faculty, I have lots of things with which to answer that question. And one, of course, is the Castan Centre. Celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, what I find so inspiring about the Centre is what I think is at the core of Monash law, the use of expertise to make a difference. Sir David Derham, who was the first Dean of the faculty, said, quote, "Law is deeply embedded in society. Unless it's working for society, it is missing the point." Well, I think we can extend that and say that unless lawyers and legal academics are deeply embedded in society, unless they are working for society, unless lawyers, legal academics, judges, coroners, activists, all of us, then we are missing the point. And that point is certainly not missed by the Castan Centre, its enduring commitment to using rich and deep expertise, influencing government policy, legislation, providing accessible public education on human rights, giving our students, many of you alumni here, with outstanding opportunities. And this annual conference, I'm told it's a date in the diary for everybody, is a good example of those aims and activities, bringing together this collective brains trust of expertise, advocates, lawyers, for powerful evidence-based discussions. And it strikes me that this centre and each of you are so critical. Critical to defending the rule of law against populist undermining, critical to promoting evidence-based discussions in an age of misinformation, and to having hard conversations about very complex and contested issues in a pluralistic society in which we disagree about lots of things, and critical to creating transnational solidarity, legal capacity, encouraging intellectual and other forms of resistance. Put another way, I am so excited to see how the Castan Centre moves forward with its members, with our students, with all of you, on its already exceptional foundations.